So did I, Ben. So did I.
Brewer, are you surprised the Ravens routed the Bears without Lamar?
I'm just going to say this.
Okay.
I remember, the only thing I remember from last week is Danny saying, you better not show up Monday if they lose to my Bears with Lamar. And I don't have a ton to say. I just want to hear how you can explain. Wow. I want to hear you explain away. Because these guys know when it was announced that Lamar wasn't playing, I was like,
he was out.
It's over. I mean, obviously the Bears are going to win.
See you next season.
And so I got to hear how in the world you can explain this away.
It's going to be a struggle. First of all, thank you for your kind text. We don't text that often.
That's nice.
Yeah, but Bruce sent me a text. He goes, you shouldn't show up for work. It's like, oh. And I woke up this morning, and I considered it. Frankly, I considered not coming in. So let's question, surprised Ravens routed the Bears without Lamar? Yeah, there is such thing as a stupid question. I mean, of course, I'm shocked. But more than surprised and more than shocked, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm a little embarrassed. And yeah, Nick got to watch the game with me, and that was not the best version of myself.
I was playing make believe with his older son just to like get away from Danny in the room.
I'm not terribly proud of how I acted during that game.
No.
But I will also just say this, like, great show today. I'm watching, and I'm a new part of the First Things First family, and you guys have welcomed me with open arms. And I want to fit in. And you have banners.
Yeah.
And you have a doorstep
Of destiny.
Yeah, of destiny. And you have T6, and now you have T7, and apparently there was a magician, which I'm not sure I fully understood. There was a magic actor. I was so confident when I saw the news that Lamar was out. Brew.
Oh, no.
This is true. I prepared a bit.
Oh, wow.
I prepared.
Nothing worse than a bit that.
It's a bit within a bit.
Gone bad.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
Oh, don't.
I got a robe.
We have a robe.
We have a Bears.
He's gonna steal
gonna
your
steal
bit.
my
I was going to
bit.
steal your bit. I was going to steal your bit. I was going to put on a Bears robe. And it gets worse. Because I don't have as much juice as you guys to, like, spend on the budget.
You have sandwiches in there?
Pizza. I was going to have you make me a pizza.
Deep dish.
Shout out Lou Malnati's. And this is the worst piece of it. Because I was prepared fully to mock you for the ping pong. We bought I had to buy a ping pong table.
There's a ping pong table out in Spruce.
I heard about you to a game. I've used the OT's allotment of a bit budget.
It's not good.
It's all used up in one game because I'm sorry, Joe Flacco lost. Mac Jones lost. Carson Wentz lost. Backup quarterbacks are supposed to lose.
Andy Dalton.
Lost.
Bad,
And then there was Snoop Huntley. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
And then there was Snoop Huntley outplaying Caleb Williams thoroughly.
Well, see, that's
I'm a little shook. I'm a little
It
shook.
wasn't about Snoop. I mean, he did fine. That was great.
He started
got
14 of 15.
He got a great
was really
win.
good.
Good for him. It was about your boy. Not being able to exploit. And I do believe the Ravens defense has gotten better.
Yeah.
But it hasn't become elite.
I would say so.
Right? It's getting hopefully it'll be elite by the end of the, last stretch of the season. But for Caleb, he threw for a bunch of yards. I'll give him that.
He did throw for a bunch of yards. 0
touchdowns, 1 interception. Nick has already just kicked him to the curb.
Oh, hold on.
Like
he was
earlier.
Weeks ago.
Earlier, he was talking about how it's your guy, and he's so glad he's not his guy.
It's just I'm not the one that has to answer for this today. Danny is. But here's my concern, and then I give it to you.
Okay, fine, thanks.
Because while I'm not the Caleb guy on the show, I am a Caleb guy.
Are you though?
Certainly.
We don't want you.
I'm obviously never gonna live down putting him on the mountain as a college player.
Not a Caleb
It's
guy.
brought up all the time, and so I still have real ties to him, and I still want to believe. But do you agree with this? That if The Athletic did one of their, like GM surveys that they do, if they did one of those today,
Yeah.
and it was redraft the quarterbacks.
Yeah, Drake Maye, Jaden Daniels, Caleb wins.
See, I think today
They would take him over Bo
think
Nix.
today
Stop.
I wouldn't.
Stop.
I would not put Bo Nix ahead of him, but I think today it's certainly Drake and Jaden would be the unanimous 1 and 2.
Yes.
Like Caleb would get no first or second votes, and I think it'd be a coin flip who got the most third place
can I
votes,
make an
Bo or
argument for
Caleb,
Bo?
and that's a problem.
And we talked about it earlier. You mentioned it. There are touchdowns that Bo it looks nice and easy.
Yeah.
It's a nice play design. Bo drops back and throws the ball. And Caleb is at times spectacular and at times
Bruce said
less
nothing
than.
looks easy.
Would you
Yeah.
agree with that? Like everything looks difficult, even when he's cooking a little bit. You know, he cooks a little bit, but it just doesn't. No, but it
a
doesn't
part-time
look
cook.
smooth. It doesn't look easy.
I agree completely. He can make plays that I really do think only a handful of guys can make, like physically, right? We've talked about sometimes he looks, that's a Patrick Mahomes play or a Josh Allen play. And then he makes plays that Brock Purdy, you know what I mean? It's just like these.
Purdy's
lashing out in all
in a
directions.
Super Bowl.
I'm just saying, like, he misses the layups. And they played 7 games. That was their 3rd game where they've had more than 10 penalties. Like sometimes they can't get the plays in, or they're late to get into the line of scrimmage, or they're false starting, and it's all rushed. The interception to Adunze that throw was so late. Like it was late. He patted the ball. The running back was wide open in the flat. It was just a miss. It was a terrible play. I still think that Caleb is going to be very good. Like I still think Caleb is very talented and not at all a finished product. But this graphic isn't great. Like I saw you just remove the Cowboys game entirely. I'll just do since the Cowboys game because it's all against defenses that I would expect them to beat. It's against the Raiders, Commanders, Saints, and Ravens.
Wow.
And man, it's not good enough. It is simply not good enough. And it's just not fair.
Why?
You gave me the Caleb guy. I want this whole TV thing to work out. I'm like, I'm going to be the Caleb guy.
Yeah.
Fame and fortune, long TV career, and now it's crumbling.
He's got
around
Drake
you.
Maye.
Another guy.
You got
He's
Drake
got Drake
Maye.
Maye.
You
Several
got
guys.
Lamar.
I got Lamar.
several guys.
Well, you have Drake.
Well, I got Drake. I got Mac Jones.
But yeah, but
Super Bowl
we're
champion.
I was
We're talking about
wondering
guys.
if
Jalen
you
Hurts.
You have Jalen
left
Hurts.
him out there.
No, you have Drake
and
and
Darnold, Sam Darnold.
Darnold.
Beautiful
not
road.
necessarily.
Yeah,
Let me say this quickly,
Yes,
and
please.
I don't want to get off the subject. I would argue, just as an argument for Jaden Daniels in that mystery or that draft, make-believe draft.
over Drake Maye.
The one thing I would give, because I think you could easily take Jaden over Drake. The one thing, though, I'll give Drake is just the durability. Like that, and I know last year he had, but Jaden just has. You were right. Hopefully you're not right. And you know what I mean?
Up to this point, the questions about Jaden's durability have been real. But here's what's so
to me, that's the one. They both been great in their
I could see
different
it. I'm not
times,
gonna,
but that's why, right?
Here's what's really interesting about the quarterbacks from that draft, those 4 guys we're talking about. The guys that didn't believe in them, the reason they didn't believe in any of those guys have popped for all of them, except for Drake at this point.
Yeah.
For Jaden, it was frame and durability. For Bo Nix, it was lack of real upside, and that really has shown all year until the last 5 quarters. He's obviously been spectacular. And for Caleb, it was what Brew was talking about, which is
Playing on schedule.
Yeah, playing on schedule and making the routine look routine. I do think that it's really weird because if we'd have said, hey, Bears, will you take 4-3 through 7 games? It would have been like, not over the moon, but absolutely. And certainly when they started 0-2, you'd have been like, sign me up for 4-3.
I still think that's all there, man. I mean, Cincinnati and the Giants in the next 2. 6-3 is on the board. Caleb gets better incrementally. The sacks are plummeting. Like, there have been things that have been improving.
But I just wish we could watch one of these Caleb games other than the Cowboys game and be like, that's the guy that we've seen, and that hasn't happened.
That would be nice.
Let's talk. We're going to head to Colts.
You guys want some pizza?
Yeah, I do. Colts moved to 7-1. Best record in the AFC. The Colts offense scored 270 in the first 8 games, Brew. That's 3rd best in Colts history. It outpaces any season start by Luck and Peyton. It's that offense that brings us to our first bite at stock up, stock down.
Thank you, sir. Stock up, Jonathan Taylor, and it's obvious those are the rushing yardage totals over the last 5 weeks, and they're going up, and up is good. But Jonathan Taylor is making the case to be the first running back or non-quarterback MVP since Adrian Peterson. Thought it was worth checking in on AP's pace through 8 games and Jonathan Taylor's pace through 8 games. That's, of course, Adrian Peterson in the MVP season. He's destroying it.
12 touchdowns is nuts.
Yards per carry, and yes, 3 times as many touchdowns. I know Daniel Jones, and it's become a quarterback award, and people will just say, well, just give him Offensive Player of the Year. If they're the 1 seed and he shatters AP's numbers, give it to Jonathan Taylor.
Listen, I think that Daniel Jones has almost no shot at the award. He is going to, fair or not, deal with what Purdy dealt with when Purdy had insane numbers, but CMC had that year. Nobody last year, even though Jalen Hurts had finished second in MVP 2 years prior, nobody last year was talking about him for MVP. I do think, Brew, that if the Colts go 15-2 and they're the 1 seed, I think Jonathan Taylor has a real shot at league MVP.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think, unless Jones goes on a tear and Taylor comes back to earth, but they keep winning, that's the only way I kind of see Jones winning. Because I've been wanting to get, as they kept winning, one of their players in my Brews ballot, so I had to really figure out which one I thought was more valuable. And it's not only that the run for them sets everything up, but he is breaking tackles, he is spinning and making guys miss. It's not just, there's this huge hole, and we knew he was a great running back anyway, but he is really seemingly taking it to another level. I think he's on pace for 29 total touchdowns, which would be 2 off LaDainian Tomlinson's.
And if you remember, Adrian Peterson finished that year ridiculous. He had over 150 yards in 4 of the last 6 games. So
and hit 2,000.
And hit 2,000.
He was gunning for it, wasn't he?
Well, no, it was how they got in the playoffs. They had to go on a winning streak late. It was Christian Ponder was the quarterback, and his 2,000-yard season got him in the playoffs. KW?
Yeah.
You are the Jonathan Taylor guy.
Well, yeah, go Badgers.
You were a Jonathan Taylor guy the moment he got drafted. Yeah, he is. He's always been the Jonathan Taylor guy.
I don't think I've heard you mention his
when we were in boxes.
When we were in boxes, he said,
we'll take Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Correct.
Take Jonathan Taylor.
He's right. He said the Chiefs should have drafted him. He's right.
You get him.
All right. Unstoppable.
I know. Can you imagine?
All right, little stock up, little stock down.
Yeah, next up, stock down. You guys have mentioned in it, the Tush Push. It's going to be banned next year, but until I see it voted out.
0 for 2026.
Yeah, exactly. 0 Tush Push attempts will happen next year. And you guys were like, it's of course going to go away. Until I see this rugby play voted out of football officially, I'm going to just still talk about that as a hypothetical. But it's kind of amazing that it can have issues with officiating before the play, like what came out to light in that Chiefs game, where no one knew how to officiate false starts and jumping and the whole thing. And then it happened again in the Rams game. And then I know you showed this, but I still haven't heard an explanation. I do not understand how, if we could show the one from yesterday, how this isn't a fumble. If you can't officiate the play before it happens or while it's happening, that isn't a turnover, get this rugby play out of football. Get it out of here.
Peru?
Well, look, I have not been a guy that's been against the Tush Push. I've actually liked it and been more on the, level of no one else. It's not unstoppable for anybody else, so obviously the Eagles just do it better. But as this year, they were using it more, I don't want to see it a lot. Nick would talk about, what if a team did that all the I don't want to see it very often, and we've started seeing it more this year. And then now, you just can't officiate it. Whether it was the false starts or Jalen yesterday. Yeah. And usually, even when he doesn't necessarily put the ball forward like he did yesterday, there is always kind of a second. There's a lot of times where it's they might have stopped him, and then there's this other push from them, and they get it. And so it's just too hard to officiate.
So can I just give a counterpoint real quick? I don't think it's that hard to officiate. I think they do a poor job officiating it. I think that this play right here is not hard at all to officiate. You just don't blow it dead.
I'm
But
floored
that
that wasn't
play,
even
but
that.
you don't think,
I
like,
mean,
I do think some of the false starts, we're watching them in extra slow
Sure.
motion, and it's like, oh, but I think live, it is hard to pick some of those up.
Well, except what's odd is they have post
Other teams.
Yeah, post I forget which game it was.
Yeah,
with the game. Oh, it was
it was a big
obviously
issue.
Chiefs Eagles was the one where Brady pointed out their false starting. The next week, refs called a false start. I think it was the Colts. I don't remember. It was
Eagles Rams, right?
No, I'm
some
saying it was a
team. I can't
non-Eagles team
Oh,
was
oh,
trying
oh,
it,
right.
and they called the false start. And the fumble yesterday was obvious from the beginning. And I agree with your point, Danny, which is they consistently get the benefit of the extra push, or your point, Brew.
Yep.
And so that's fine, but in that case, there has to be a downside to it. And I don't know that I agree with you, KW, that Jalen Hurts all of a sudden is just going to stop reaching the ball forward. Like on this play, he correctly surmised, I'm not going to get the first down without reaching the ball forward. And it was fourth down.
This is my favorite one. Stock up.
Stock up. Drake Maye. He deserves it.
Oh, my goodness.
Drake Maye is going to start a playoff game this year. I don't know if that is universal agreement or people are like, yeah, of course, that's obvious. Maybe he's going to win the Super Bowl. You're home, I know it's obvious. But, like, the offensive line still isn't good. The guy's running for his life back
Myles
there.
Garrett.
Miles Garrett's amazing, but I think consistently Drake Maye, I think if we ranked their offensive line, it would be below average, and if we ranked their skill position group, it would still be average to below average across the league. And the fact that in his second year, Drake Maye is doing this as consistently as he's doing it, yes, I am remarkably jealous, given what we just talked about with Caleb Williams. But he's been remarkable. He deserves where he is in the MVP odds, and he's going to start a playoff.
Can I say something about the skill position group? It's a little bit like we're dealing with like Michael Pittman, where it's like, he's not that good. Like, all right, well, he's putting up the numbers and like putting up the highlights that make him look good. Stephon has been amazing. Butte all of a sudden is a great deep threat. He just doesn't have maybe as much cachet as, Hollywood Brown or
Well, no, I
somebody.
think, Hollywood
He's
Brown
making
is
a little name.
I'm just trying to sound like someone with like good marketing.
Hollywood does have good marketing.
Well, right, first round picks is what you mean. Guys who have first round pick pedigree. I think I agree with Danny. I disagree with you. I don't think Stephon Diggs has been amazing. I think Stephon Diggs has been solid. I don't
catching like 80, like the numbers say.
The connection between May and Diggs has been great. The overall production, I would put a step short of amazing.
Yeah, it's not
but
Justin Jefferson.
But that's why Drake Maye deserves the credit.
Correct.
I think Drake Maye has been phenomenal.
Right.
I think that he has been a pretty clear cut through 8 weeks top 5 quarterback in the NFL this year. Yeah. And that's all you can hope for.
And this speaks to your point, bro. Josh McDaniels does make it. He does some spectacular stuff, but some stuff just simple.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked he hasn't had a hiccup game in the last 7.
That's
He was bad in week 1, and since then he's just been excellent every week.
That's a Josh McDaniels thing. Like just doop, doop, doop.
Yeah.
All right,
guys.
final stock down.
The Steelers defense, they're not getting what they paid for. They spend more money on the defensive side of the ball than any team in the NFL. It's not particularly close. That is yards per play allowed, and that is Cincinnati and the Packers. And I know the Packers offense is supposed to be great, but it has not been consistent, and they basically allowed Jordan Love to pitch a perfect game there. I can't imagine what Aaron Rodgers is thinking. I go to Pittsburgh to go with Mike Tomlin. He always has a top 10 defense. I'm holding up my end of the bargain, and the defense is the thing that's letting down Pittsburgh here. It's crazy what's going on there.
Yeah, they paid a lot of older players.
That is certainly
and
part of it.
they, some of us, I anticipated Jalen Ramsey wouldn't be that good. I think you saw that coming. I didn't anticipate that TJ Watt wouldn't have the impact that he's had. I didn't anticipate that their linebackers would have the problems that they have. But Brew, I do think this is a very fair criticism of Tomlin. That the defensive performance falls strictly under his purview, and the defense was, I think it's now fair to say, horrible in week 1. They were able to escape with a win against the Jets. horrible last week against Cincinnati, and horrible last night against Green Bay. That's 3 of their 7 games.
No, look, I obviously agree because the defense hasn't been good. But, and I don't really want to see this because obviously I've got the Ravens in the division. But I'm not, just like I felt about the Ravens this last year, that's their culture is defense. They're going to get it together.
Makes sense.
I would expect them to improve, maybe not become top 10, but improve to the point where they're not losing games the way they have been with that defense.
We've got the Colts next, so it'll be
Not a good spot for
This
that.
thing
It might
battle,
not
stock
improve
up,
next
stock
week.
down. The stock up, stock down bowl.
Last night, Jordan Love and the Packers took on Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Sunday Night Football. Rodgers said it was not a revenge game. He was just happy to be out there playing his old team, see some old friends. Going into the matchup, didn't exactly believe it. Then he didn't seem so happy after the game, obviously, losing 35-25. Coach Mangini and Willie Colon out here. So, guys, the question is, bigger story, Packers win or Steelers loss? And I said on Friday, whoever won the game, I'd be very impressed with them because I just thought it was a fascinating matchup. Obviously,
you were more concerned about the dramatics of it.
I was.
And I told you my concern earlier.
You were correct.
Yes.
Yeah, you were correct. The Steelers' defense was a problem. But I will say, that Packers team, man, I've said they're streaky and they're inconsistent. But their good is really good. They went into that half down 16-7, and they came out and won that game 35-25. And Jordan Love basically played a perfect football game in the second half. And if you look at what Jordan Love did in the second half in that game, he was 16 of 19, 214 yards, 20 straight completions over the course of the end of the second quarter through the end of the game, nearly a perfect passer rating. And I was like, wow, that's good Jordan Love. That's the streaky good Jordan Love. But then if you zoom out just a smidge to this season, Jordan Love in the second half, these are back to 1992 when Favre took over as the full-time quarterback of the Packers. That's in line with the MVP seasons of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Like, listen, there's bad tape out there of me saying that Caleb Williams is better than Jordan Love. Big yikes on that one. Like, Jordan Love is impressive. He was impressive. And if the Packers can get any version of that, they're going to be dangerous. And yes, right now they are the 1 seed in the NFC. So for me, the story is how good the Packers good could be. So I'll say the Packers, Coach.
Yeah, for me, it's not the Steelers' loss. It's how the Steelers are losing.
Okay.
And it's problematic. So the last 2 games now, they've given up over 30 points in both games, including over 30 points to Joe Flacco, who had been in Cincinnati for 15 minutes. And they have the highest paid defense. They have the oldest defense. Yet this defense isn't on brand with what we think about when we think about the Steelers. If we can pull up their numbers, this to me is the issue. Points per game, 22nd. Yards per game, 30th. Pass yards per game, dead last. Opponent pass TDs, tied for 20th. I really thought we were going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith and them not being on the same page. And there was going to be some headlines where Aaron said something or implied something, or there was a press conference or whatever it was. That's where the storyline was going to be, and that's what was going to be holding back the team. But it's not that. It's the defense, which doesn't seem that they had a streak of those 5-sack games, but this isn't the Steelers' defense that we're just so used to seeing and expecting.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the biggest concern for me is obviously the Steelers from this standpoint. They've lost their fear factor. When you watch who they are and what they've been over the last couple of years, this was a team where most teams like, we pray we can get our quarterback healthy out of the building when we play the Steelers because how dominant their defense is. But right now, you're talking about offensively, they only scored 6 points in the fourth quarter. Packers were able to jump out there and throw up 21 points. I think what scares me about this team right now, if your focus is get to January, after watching these last 2 weeks, I don't know if they're making it to January. This is a team who I thought was going to have a place at the table, and it doesn't look like that right now. You go from 4-1 to 4-3, and you don't have any answers on defense. Offensively, they stagnant, and they don't have the explosive plays that can carry them throughout the game. So I'm worried about them on both sides of the ball, honestly, not just defensively.
But at least on the offense, I feel like we all understand why. I mean, they got a 41-year-old quarterback in his first year there. Like, why is the Steelers' defense bad? I don't get it.
Well, because their brand is being able to get after the quarterback. They haven't been able to do that. And then miscommunication on the back end is pops off the tape.
Yeah, the pass defense has been really
And
bad.
they're just the fundamentals of football they're not good at. They don't tackle well.
A Mike Tomlin coach team.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's not about the coach. It's about those guys on the field. Coach can only do so much. You have to show up and do your job, and they just haven't been able to do it at a high level.
And the other thing that typically happens is when you have an older team, as you get to the middle part of the season and it keeps going, there's more injuries, there's more fatigue. Those teams tend to decline as the season goes on. Now that group can light up again when they get to the playoffs and the amount of games is smaller, and those guys that are older and really talented can push through that, where you see something different from younger teams where you hit this mid-season part and they start growing, they start gelling, you see improvement. And that's a concern because of the age as well.
It just seems to me that if the defense can become what it's been when they had Fields and Trubisky and Duck Hodges and all the guys that we talked about, like, how did Mike Tomlin have a winning record with that quarterback? If they can just get that level of defense, they are going to be dangerous.
Well, that's why I'm not overly worried about the defense, because I do think they have enough talent on that side of the ball to rally. It's just a matter of, you talking about playing the Colts who are 7-1 next. I mean, it could get ugly fast for them. And then you're talking about the Chargers who are 5-3, backing that up. So you're talking about this team losing 4 games back to back to back, right? So if there's a time to hit the panic button, for me after this game, it has to be right now. Because of the next 2 games, you got to get this defense to figure out what's going on and why they're not playing the brand of football that we used to see.
In the NFC, I will just say, too, that version of the Packers that we just saw, they can beat a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
They can beat a lot of people. But, guys, tough news that I know hits very close to home for both of you. Former Jets center Nick Mangold passed away Saturday night after a long battle with kidney disease, a first-round selection of the New York Jets in 2006 out of Ohio State. Mangold was one of the best offensive linemen of his era, a 7-time Pro Bowler, forever enshrined in the Jets Ring of Honor. So we have his first NFL head coach, Eric Mangini, and former Jets teammate and friend, Willie Colon. Gentlemen, so sorry for both of your losses, and I know you both have memories that you wanted to share, so Coach, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so when in my first year in our first draft, we not only wanted to get really good players, we wanted to get good people. And I didn't want to know about the player until I knew about the person. We wanted guys who are smart, who are tough, who are hardworking, competitive, selfless, and football was important to them. And Nick checked all those boxes. But when you draft a guy, you think you're going to get one thing, but you're not sure till he gets in the building. So then Nick gets in the building, and he's all of those things, but he's so much more. He's a great teammate. He's great in the community. He's great with the fans. He got drafted in the first round, but you would think he was a rookie free agent the way that he carried himself. And I was in Baltimore when we drafted Jonathan Ogden, and I remember going out to one of those first practices and saying, wow, this guy is really different than everybody I've looked at. And it was the same thing with Nick when he went out to his first practice. It's like, wow, this guy's really different than everybody else I've been looking at. And he was special in terms of his talent as well. And I have 3 boys, and if my boys can grow up to be the type of man that Nick Mangold was, I'll be very proud. And Nick is going to be missed by everyone.
Yeah, this is tough, man. I didn't just lose a teammate. I lost a brother. When I arrived to the Jets in 2013, Nick was the first person that greeted me in the weight room. And this is a guy who wore the C on his chest with a level of pride that it just exuded. I think it's tough for me personally because I talked to him a week ago, and I was able to hear the Nick Mangold I wanted to hear. He was in good spirits. We started off joking like we always do, and I was just asking him, like, how did we get here, man? Like, what happened? Because it felt like it kind of just ran up on all of us, obviously, when he, announced that he was looking for a donor. And he laid it all out there. And I think what was haunting me now is when I got off the phone with him, I'm going away this weekend, and when I was coming back, I was going to see him. I had put it down on the calendar. I was bringing him a gift. I was bringing the guys, and we're going to just put our arms around him and hug him and just be by his side. I got the news Sunday morning while I was working out, and it just blindsided me. And Coach hit it right on the head. He's a father of 4, and as proud as he was as being a Jet and representing the green and white, he loved being a dad, man. He loved being a dad. He loved his boys. He loved his wife. He loved his kids, and he loved dad life, and he made me dad life. He was a dad before I was a dad, and he made me look forward to being a dad and how he carried himself and how much he talked about his kids, and he loved his wife. And it hurts. It hurts because when you lose somebody who not only had your back, when I was at my weakest points, I was an injury-prone guy. When I was with the Jets, I was, a lot of times I was rolling out there on one leg, but I was going to give it all I got. And he would just look at me like, I got you, bro. I got you. And when you lose somebody like that who impacts your life, not only on the field, but off the field, any charity event, anything I had going on, 7-4 was right next to me. And, it's just tough. And I think for a lot of people out there who knew Nick and loves Nick, just reach out to the family, be there for the family, because they the ones that are really going through it. And, it's just tough. So.
Very sorry for both of your losses, and we'll continue, like you said, to keep Nick's wife and 4 kids and the countless teammates and friends in our thoughts as they mourn this devastating loss. Nick Mangold was 41 years old.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.